Yes.
If we have a project with DASNY or OGS or any of the others, we have a contract. What is the feeling of the agency for the firm to, on a fairly regular basis, come up and visit and ask how we're doing? And is that allowable?
Yes, we encourage firms to do what we call like a meet and greet. What I'll do is, like if you contacted me and it was and you're from downstate, I reach out to our downstate staff and they will actually meet with you. You can tell them, you know, things have changed. You might have had a contract for 2 years with us, and you may not you might have new staff that brings new experience with you. And gee, we'd like to talk to you about some lead certifications we've gotten, or whatever you'd like to bring. So yes, if you don't even have to have a contract with us. If you think you have something to offer to the authority and you'd like to have a meet and greet, you can just give us a call and we'd be happy to meet with you and hear about your firm. I'll turn it over to Michael. I did leave my business cards on the table back there. If anyone has any questions, please feel free, and I will stay for a while.
One of the other things that we're doing in answer to the gentleman who raised the question, who is currently on contract with DASNY and hadn't received any work yet, what I'm about to do in concert with Dawn's area along with project management is to establish some greet and meets whereby firms that are under contract with DASNY, we would set up some specific meetings, whether you be in downstate or upstate, so that you can meet some of our design staff and give you an opportunity to put forward, this is who my firm is again, this is what we do, these are our area of expertise. And through that effort, again, to I think Hayward mentioned in his remarks, it's all about relationships. However, doing business with someone that you don't have a relationship with, how do you get that unless you have an opportunity to at least show them your professional expertise in what you do? So we'll be doing that. We'll be reaching out to you and other firms who are under contract, because I think it's important. As Dawn said, our workload is off a little bit, but in the end of the day, we still have a responsibility to make sure that we're putting forward the best professional services firms to our cadre of clients across the board. So to do that, greet and meets is one way to be able to meet that. Another thing I'll mention before I bring up Sally is that on the selection teams, as you heard Dawn mention, those teams are made up of representatives from my office. So on every selection team, there is someone from my office on that team. And our specific responsibility is to ensure that the best qualified minority woman-owned business is selected. So in order to do that, we absolutely have to have proposals coming in from, obviously, from qualified minority women-owned businesses. But as Dawn indicated, there are 5 firms or 5 individuals or more who generally make up that selection team, which does include the client. And so, again, we have the responsibility of ensuring that we are meeting the governor's goals of 20% utilization across the board. So that means not only sub-consultants, but that also means prime consultants. So we are very focused on that in the agency, and I can speak also for OGS. They are equally as focused also. On the DASNY website, we list, I think as Dawn mentioned, we mentioned all the respondents to a particular proposal. So you have the long list is listed on our website. We also include the short list on our website. So that it gives you an opportunity to find out who's responding and also who's being shortlisted, and along with their contact information, so there's transparency there. Also, too, I don't hear this enough, and I was speaking to a owner who's in the audience who is a small firm and was talking, you know, the difficulty that all the firms are experiencing, but especially the small firms. And one of the things that I talked about was the ability of MWBEs to partner with other MWBs to respond to a proposal. Again, obviously, you need to be able to have the same synergy, depth of resources, and be able to have the necessary teams that can respond adequately to the proposal. But there's nothing wrong that 2 or 3 or whatever number of minority or women-owned small professional services firms can partner together to respond to an RFP that DASNY may have out. We're not looking for all the time or most of the time 200-person firms. So because in a lot of occasions on the bigger firms we're a small fish in a large pond. Obviously, it's the reverse. In a smaller firm, we are typically the larger fish in the pond, and we get more, I guess, attention paid to us, and obviously you're living and dying on every single project. So with that being said, please look at partnering with each other to respond to proposals, because I believe there's some opportunities there. Also, as Dawn mentioned, it has to be absolutely clear and concise. If you are partnering, teaming, who's going to lead that effort? Who is the project manager that's going to be responsible for directing the team? That's critical, because if I read a proposal, which over the past 25 years I've read my share of proposals, that I can't ascertain who is going to be directing the resources of the team, that's not something that the agency is going to want to undertake. So again, if you're able to clearly define who the project manager is, who he or she is going to be the single point of contact, that absolutely helps in terms of us discerning resources, who we should be contacting, and how those resources will be deployed on the procurement. Those are just a couple things that I noted in terms of Dawn's response to you this morning.